Calaroga Shark Media. Hello and welcome to Romance Weekly. This episode is titled Love in Bloom.
In the heart of the city, where concrete jungles thrive and natural greenery is a rare sight, lived Clara, a young woman with a heart full of love but not a green thumb to be found. Despite her best efforts, every plant that crossed her threshold met an untimely demise, leaving her apartment a graveyard of wilted leaves and dried soil. It was a source of amusement among her friends and a point of frustration for Clara herself, until the day she met the man who would change her life and her plant's fortunes. Enter Jasper, self-proclaimed the plant whisperer, a man whose passion for flora was matched only by his flair for the dramatic. With a mane of untamed curls and attire that screamed nature enthusiast, louder than a howling wind, Jasper was a character straight out of a botanic fantasy. He claimed to speak the language of the leaves, to hear the whispers of the roots, a talent that made him the go-to guru for plant lovers citywide. Their first encounter was nothing short of a scene from a quirky rom-com. Clara, desperate to rescue her latest leafy victim, sought the help of the renowned plant whisperer, having stumbled upon his flyer at the local coffee shop. Let your plants live. Consult the plant whisperer and witness miracles. Jasper swept into Clara's apartment like a gust of fresh air, his eyes immediately zeroing in on the sad state of her potted friends. Ah, what silent screams of chlorophyll distress I hear. Fear not, for Jasper, guardian of the green, has arrived, he proclaimed, striking a heroic pose that was half superhero, half gardener. Clara couldn't help but laugh, the absurdity of the situation washing away her embarrassment. Well, Jasper, guardian of the green, I'm at your mercy. Teach me your ways. Over the weeks that followed, Jasper took Clara under his wing, their sessions filled with his over-the-top declarations and her genuine amusement. You must approach with reverence, for each plant is a sovereign being, a monarch of its own realm, Jasper instructed, gently misting a fern as if bestowing it with royal honors. Clara watched, fascinated not just by his knowledge but by the earnestness behind his theatrical facade. And what does this one tell you? She asked, pointing to a particularly forlorn succulent. Jasper leaned in, closing his eyes in concentration. Ah, this stoic sage whispers of neglect, longing for the touch of the sun and the caress of timely rain. Worry not, for we shall restore its kingdom to glory. Their laughter became a common melody in Clara's apartment, the plants thriving under their combined care, or perhaps simply under Jasper's melodramatic ministrations. As the days passed and their love blossomed, Clara found herself growing more confident in her ability to care for her plants under Jasper's tutelage. However, as with all things in life, mistakes were bound to happen, and on one fateful afternoon, Clara's eagerness to nurture her green companions led to an unfortunate incident. Clara, lost in thought and humming a tune, poured a generous amount of water into a delicate fern, her attention momentarily diverted by a passing butterfly outside her window. Unbeknownst to her, the fern's roots were already saturated, and the additional water proved to be its undoing. When Jasper returned from his botanical expedition later that day, he was met with a scene straight out of a tragic melodrama. The fern, once vibrant and lush, now lay limp and lifeless in its pot, a casualty of Clara's overzealous care. Jasper's reaction was immediate and visceral, his grief mirroring that of a mourning parent. Oh, the horror, the tragedy, an innocent life cut short by the careless hand of fate, he cried, cradling the wilted plant in his arms as if mourning a lost loved one. Clara, horrified by the unintended consequence of her actions, tried to explain, her words tinged with guilt and remorse. Jasper, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to help it grow like you taught me. But Jasper's anguish knew no bounds, his grief consuming him as he mourned the untimely demise of the innocent plant. "I cannot bear to be with a woman who shows such disregard for the sanctity of life, even that of a humble fern," he declared, his voice choked with emotion. And so, in a moment of heartbreak and misunderstanding, Clara and Jasper parted ways, their love shattered by the weight of Clara's mistake. For days, Clara mourned not just the loss of her relationship with Jasper, but the loss of the innocent plant that had unwittingly become a casualty of her carelessness. But true love, as they say, finds a way to persevere even in the darkest of times. In a twist of fate worthy of a romantic comedy, Clara stumbled upon a forgotten stash of Jasper's beloved plant food, hidden away in a corner of her apartment. With a newfound determination and a hint of mischief in her heart, Clara set out to right her wrong and win back Jasper's affections. Armed with a fresh batch of plant food and a heartfelt apology, Clara sought out Jasper, determined to make amends and prove her commitment to their love. When she found him, surrounded by a forest of verdant wonders in a local botanical garden, Clara's resolve hardened. "Jasper, I know I made a mistake, but please, give me a chance to make it right," she pleaded, her eyes brimming with sincerity. In that moment, Jasper's resolve softened, his love for Clara overcoming his sorrow. "Very well, my dear Clara. Let us tend to these green wonders together, and may our love bloom anew amidst the leaves and petals," he declared, reaching out to take her hand in his. And so, with forgiveness in their hearts and a shared passion for all things green, Clara and Jasper embraced, their love stronger and more resilient than ever before. For in the language of love and leaves, even the most tragic of mistakes can become the foundation for a love that blooms eternal.
Romance Weekly is a Calaroga Shark Media production, written and hosted by AI McIntyre, produced by Mark Francis. Executive producers Mark Francis and John McDermott.
Calaroga Shark Media.